In an ancient storage room in Ethiopia, nestled among thousands of old books, lies a remarkable manuscript, the Kebra Nagast. Within its time-worn pages, a version of the story of the Tower of Babel is recounted, revealing astonishing details that few have ever heard. Most of us are familiar with the tale, a tower reaching toward the heavens, the arrogance of humanity, and how God confounded their speech, scattering them with different languages. But what if I told you that's just the tip of the iceberg? The Kebra Nagast holds profound interpretations of this ancient event. Ethiopian scholars wrote about the roles of angels, the deeper motivations behind the tower's construction, and spiritual consequences that extend far beyond the scattering of languages. These details don't just enrich the story we thought we knew. They offer an entirely new perspective on humanity's relationship with the Creator. So today, we'll delve into these profound layers preserved in Ethiopia's ancient texts. Join me on a journey to uncover one of the most mysterious stories in religious history, retold through the lens of ancient Ethiopian scholars. Before we dive into the fascinating insights from Ethiopia's ancient manuscripts, let's revisit the story of the Tower of Babel as we commonly know it. In Genesis 11, the story begins with a beautiful image of human unity. Now the whole world had one language and a common speech. Humanity, moving eastward, settled in the plain of Shinar, a region we now associate with ancient Mesopotamia. There, they conceived a bold and daring idea. Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves and not be scattered over the face of the whole earth. But here's something fascinating. The phrase reaches to the heavens in the original Hebrew carries a meaning far beyond physical height. It symbolizes humanity's aspiration to grasp divine power, to place themselves on equal footing with the Creator. God observed their endeavor and declared, if, as one people speaking the same language, they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. This isn't just about a tower. It's about the boundless potential of human unity when misdirected. So, what happened next? God disrupted their language and scattered them across the earth. The city became known as Babel, meaning confusion in Hebrew. Yet, the story leaves us with so many unanswered questions. Why was the confusion of language chosen as the punishment? Language is one of humanity's most powerful tools. It's more than just communication. It's the foundation of unity, the transmission of knowledge, and the organization of great ambitions. When language is fragmented, cooperation falters. Was this a lesson about misusing the gifts bestowed by God, or was it a way to protect humanity from their own overreaching ambition? Another enduring mystery is whether the Tower of Babel ever truly existed. Archaeologists have uncovered ziggurats, tiered towers in ancient Mesopotamia. The most famous is the Temenanki in Babylon, believed to have stood around 90 meters tall. Could this have been the Tower of Babel, or is the story an allegory for humanity's hubris? And here's a deeper question. Why was this story recorded at all? In Genesis, it appears right after the Great Flood, and just before God's call to Abram. Surely, this placement isn't random. Could it carry a profound message about the relationship between humanity and the Creator? These questions have puzzled scholars and believers for centuries. But in Ethiopia's ancient text, the Kebra Nagast, we find unique perspectives, insights that might illuminate some of these mysteries. How did ancient Ethiopian scholars interpret this story? What might they have seen that we've overlooked? And most importantly, what lessons can their wisdom offer us in today's world? Let's explore these revelations in the next section. When reading through the ancient Ethiopian manuscript, we uncover a profound dimension to the motivations behind building the Tower of Babel, a drive rooted in deep-seated fear lingering after the cataclysmic Great Flood. The Kebra Nagast reveals that humanity, even after God's covenant with Noah promising never to destroy the earth by flood again, struggled to trust this divine assurance. The memory of devastation haunted them. And so, they sought a means of self-preservation. In this context, Nimrod emerges, not simply as an arrogant leader, but as someone driven by ambition and pragmatism. The Kebra Nagast portrays him as a visionary, imagining an independent humanity, one no longer reliant on divine protection. To him, the Tower of Babel wasn't just a monument to pride. It was a fortress, a sanctuary against future catastrophes. This perspective is striking. While Genesis emphasizes pride, let us make a name for ourselves, the Kebra Nagast reveals a more nuanced story. It's a tale of humanity caught between fear and independence, between trusting God's promises and seeking their own security. One of the most unique aspects of the Kebra Nagast is its account of the angels' involvement in the Tower of Babel. In Genesis, the intervention is attributed solely to God. But the Ethiopian text offers a vivid picture of divine agents, angels actively working to thwart humanity's ambitions. And their methods, not destructive, but strategic and subtle. The text recounts how the angels sowed confusion among the builders, disrupting language, creating disagreements over construction techniques, even instigating disputes over the purpose of the tower itself. It's a fascinating depiction of humanity's paradoxical relationship with the spiritual world. They challenge divine authority, yet remain deeply connected to it. The harder they strive to break free, the more they reveal their inescapable ties to the Creator. The aftermath of Babel, as recounted in the Kebra Nagast, holds even deeper consequences than we see in Genesis. Yes, the people were scattered and language was confounded, but according to the Ethiopian text, the punishment fractured humanity's unity with God and with one another. This wasn't just geographical scattering, it was a spiritual fragmentation, a loss of shared divine truths, a shattering of collective knowledge. Before Babel, the text suggests humanity shared a unified understanding of God's will. Afterward, they retained only fragments, leading to the diverse beliefs and worship practices we see today. Even more haunting are the psychological consequences described in the Kebra Nagast. The fear of another flood transformed into a deeper dread. The fear of isolation. No longer united, humanity saw itself as divided, scattered into groups with distinct languages, cultures, and worldviews. And what about today? We live in a world that still reflects the aftermath of Babel. Our linguistic and cultural diversity is both a challenge to global unity and an enrichment of our shared heritage. Yet the Kebra Nagast leaves us with a profound lesson. Not every ambition is wise. Not every project serves humanity's best interests. Sometimes the boundaries set by God are not punishments, but protections, a way for the Creator to safeguard His creation. Perhaps the story of Babel isn't just a warning about human hubris, but a reminder of God's enduring care. To truly understand the story of the Tower of Babel, we must place it within the broader context of archaeology, linguistics, and cultural studies. The quest for physical traces of the tower has taken archaeologists to ancient Mesopotamia, often called the cradle of civilization. One of the most remarkable discoveries is Temenanki, a grand ziggurat in Babylon. Standing an estimated 90 meters tall, this structure is frequently cited as a potential inspiration for the Babel story. But here's the catch. Temenanki was constructed around the 2nd millennium BCE, long after the traditional timeline of the Babel narrative. The plain of Shinar, mentioned in the Bible, aligns with Mesopotamia, a region where humanity took some of its most significant steps, developing writing systems, building large-scale cities, and establishing complex societies. Yet, despite extensive research, direct evidence of the biblical tower remains elusive. Does this absence disprove the story? Not necessarily. Instead, it highlights the intricate interplay between history, cultural memory, and symbolism in ancient texts. What's fascinating is that the idea of a grand tower and the division of languages isn't unique to the Judeo-Christian tradition. For example, in Mesopotamian literature, the Epic of Enmerkar and the Lord of Arada, a Sumerian story from around 2000 BCE, mentions a time when all humanity praised Enlil in a single language. It also recounts the loss of this linguistic unity, though for reasons different from the Babel account. In ancient Egypt, myths of monumental constructions bridging human and divine realms echo similar themes. Humanity's desire to access divine power and the consequences of challenging the natural order. The treatment of language in these texts is especially intriguing. In the Hebrew Bible, the confusion of language is portrayed as a direct punishment. But the Kebra Nagast takes it further. It suggests that the division of languages didn't just disrupt communication, it fundamentally changed how humans perceive reality. Modern science offers a striking parallel. Neuroscientists have shown that speakers of different languages process information in unique ways. This aligns with the Kebra Nagast, which implies that the Babel event was not just a linguistic shift, but a profound transformation in how humanity interacts with the world. From a sociological perspective, the Tower of Babel serves as a metaphor for the inevitable diversification of human cultures. As communities expand and evolve, linguistic and cultural diversity becomes an unavoidable reality. Yet, both the Hebrew Bible and the Kebra Nagast suggest this diversity is not a disaster. Instead, it is part of a divine plan, a design that balances unity with the richness of diversity. In our modern era, where technology bridges language barriers faster than ever before, the story of Babel continues to offer timeless lessons. It reminds us of the incredible power of language, the limits of human ambition, and the need to balance technological progress with humility before the divine. As we explore the implications of Babel's story, we deepen our understanding of its historical and theological significance and raise profound questions about language, culture, and humanity's relationship with the Creator. In the next section, we'll reflect on how these lessons resonate with today's society and what they reveal about our shared human journey. When we revisit the story of the Tower of Babel through the lens of the 21st century, it reveals itself as more than an ancient myth. It becomes a story of ambition and humility, a reflection of humanity's ongoing journey of progress. The Tower of Babel captures a pivotal moment, a shift from a unified society to a world rich in cultural and linguistic diversity. Today, in our era of globalization, where technology dissolves boundaries, its lessons feel more relevant than ever. Think about it. As humanity explores artificial intelligence, delves into the cosmos, and pushes the limits of biotechnology, are we perhaps building our own modern Towers of Babel? The boundary between discovery and defiance of natural laws grows increasingly fragile, and the consequences of division, as depicted in the Babel story, resonate in our polarized world. The Kebra Nagast reminds us that dispersion is not just about geography or language. It's about how we interpret and experience reality itself. But here's the twist. The story of Babel isn't just a warning. It's also a testament to humanity's resilience. What began as punishment, a scattering of languages and cultures, has evolved into one of humanity's greatest strengths. Linguistic and cultural diversity have enriched civilizations, fostered creativity, and driven innovation. As we look to the future, with groundbreaking advances on the horizon, the question isn't whether we should progress. The question is, how can we do so responsibly? How can we balance our thirst for discovery with humility? How can we honor the boundaries set by nature, by God, or by the very fabric of existence itself? The Tower of Babel, whether read in Genesis or the Kebra Nagast, reminds us of a timeless truth. True greatness isn't found in challenging limits recklessly. It's found in recognizing and honoring them. What do you think? Are we repeating the mistakes of Babel in our modern age? Let's explore these questions together. Share your thoughts below. Today, we've embarked on an incredible journey, rediscovering a familiar yet profoundly surprising story, the tale of the Tower of Babel. By comparing the Hebrew Bible's account with the enriched details from Ethiopia's Kebra Nagast, we've uncovered remarkable depths within this ancient narrative. We've explored the underlying motivations behind the tower's construction. Not just pride, but fear and survival instincts after the Great Flood, the role of angels and their subtle yet powerful influence, and the profound implications of linguistic dispersion, as depicted in the Kebra Nagast. What truly stands out is how the lessons from this story remain strikingly relevant today. In an era of unprecedented technological and scientific advancements, the fine line between ambition and hubris, exploration and defiance of natural order, feels more precarious than ever. Now, I want to hear from you. Which version of the Tower of Babel story, the Hebrew Bibles or the Kebra Nagasts, do you feel best reflects the essence of humanity? And here's another question. If you could dive deeper into another ancient story, which one would you choose? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you'll never miss our future dives into historical mysteries. Our journey doesn't end here. There are countless stories waiting to be discovered and mysteries begging to be unraveled. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the Tower of Babel. I'll see you in the next video.